I'm out on public property here in Michigan. The purpose of my little trip into the woods, honestly, is twofold. First of all, I want to set up a couple cameras. It's basically the end of May. We just want to get some cameras up. Honestly, I'm kind of itching to get out to the woods anyway and do a little bit of walking. So maybe it's actually threefold. But I'm going to set up a cellular camera today in a spot that I hunted once last year. And it's not an easy spot to get to, which is why I want to set up a camera there. You got to cross a little bit of some water, but there is a log that you can do it, but it's pretty thick back there. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is because last time I tried to hunt it, getting to it was in the dark was an absolute disaster. So, and I still saw a nice buck, but I think it winded me. But I want to basically map out a path to that log to get across, so that when I come to do it during deer season, I'm not stumbling all over myself and all over thick stuff. And the morning I was doing it, I fell like in a bog of mud, and it was a disaster, like I said. So I'm going to do it in the daylight in the off season, map out my spot. And I would have liked to have done it earlier in the year when there wasn't so many leaves and stuff, but better late than never, I guess. So I'm going to set up a couple cameras, one cellular, one regular camera, and then I am going to just figure out the best way to get back there, so I'm not making a ton of racket like I did last year. So it's 40 degrees this morning. It's cold, but it's kind of nice. Bugs won't be out. Red. Gotta get farther away. That's not supposed to be there, but to be honest with you, I don't mind it. It's been there for a couple years, and I don't think the guy ever takes it down. I'm not even sure anybody even hunts it anymore, to be honest with you. So it's kind of nice because it's probably a bit of a deterrent for other hunters thinking somebody's hunting back here when they're really not. But I still have a long ways to go. But even still, the less people that stay back here, the better. Trying to get away from all the hunting pressure. My destination is over there. Getting to this spot quietly is going to be next to impossible, which means I'm going to have to get here really early. But you'll see why in a few minutes when I get there, why I like to hunt here. This is why right here, right in the middle of all this muck, there is an oak flat that I hunted here once last year, and I had a buck coming through there. I was up in, I don't know, a tree over there, I think. But anyway, they work through here. There's scrapes and rubs in here every year. Well, I should say there's scrapes and rubs in here last year. I haven't spent several years even hunting this area. You can actually see a trail right there. But there was some scrapes in here, some fresh rubs, and well, there's bedding everywhere, but there's a bunch of bedding over that way, which I believe is to the west. So I'm going to set up a camera in here and see what's coming through here. All right, that one's done. We'll see. I don't expect to get a ton of pictures, to be honest with you. Being the fact that it's summer, I don't know how much they're frequenting back here, but in the rut, I would think this would be a, or pre-rut especially, I would think this would be a great spot to catch some bucks cruising. So it'll be here come fall. I'll probably put it a little bit higher. I typically will push it a little bit in the summer because not very many people are out walking around, especially back here. But come about September, about the beginning of September, I started adjusting my cameras, putting them up higher. Some of them just taking down completely because they'll get stolen. I had one stolen last year. It was at a really good spot. Got some great buck pictures, and got stolen. So I'm really frustrated about that. It's hard to believe that hunters can be such thieves, but I guess that's where we're at in our society nowadays. So we'll see. I've got one more non-cellular I'm going to set up in another spot that's much easier to access. I got to go back across the water and go east a ways and put up a camera there. I'm going to set my second camera up here. I hunted this once late last year, late season. Actually sat up in those trees up there. Those are actually muzzleloader, I think. But the reason I'm setting it here is because this kind of converges right here and heads out that way. The thing about this property, it's big woods, and there's no crop fields. There's only one field 1,000 yards that way, but this year looks like it's just a hay field. They didn't plant corn, soybeans, nothing. So this one here goes up, and it goes up into the hills, to hardwoods. It's fairly thick up there in spots too, but it kind of opens up a little bit here and there. But and I've hunted up in there. But it appears that they're coming from this way. They're coming from this way, and they're converging here, and they head this way. There was a big old scrape right here last year. Unfortunately, I didn't know about the spot until late in season. One of the things I've learned personally, for me, is that to figure out a piece of public property, like really figure it out and know how the deer move, and especially with hunting pressure and stuff like that, for me it takes about 3, maybe 4 years to really kind of figure out how the deer move on the property. I wouldn't say I'm even there yet, but I'm kind of learning it and kind of figuring out some things for sure. Last year I had an opportunity at a 130 class 10 point that I missed, so I should have had a good public land buck. But I'm learning how the deer move on this property, and I think, again, because they come up and off that hill up there down into here, which it's kind of swampy, so they got to cross some stuff. It's not easy to access this spot as a hunter from the other side. Quite frankly, it's not easy to access this way either, but I'll do it. So I'm setting up a camera here to see if I can, to try to catch them where the trails kind of meet and see what happens. Summer patterns are obviously going to be different than fall patterns, but I just spooked a deer on the way over here, so I know there's deer in here, and I know they move in through here. And this one's not a cellular camera, so I'm going to leave it for weeks and then come back and hope that it actually works. I know there's big bucks in here. Like I said, last year I had an opportunity at a really good buck. Would have been my biggest public land buck by far. But it's just a matter of being at the right spot at the right time. But this year, I'm gonna seal the deal. I hunt this spot primarily bow season. So even the few tree stands that I do see, I'm not sure honestly that they're bow hunters. I think they're gun hunters. So I just don't think it gets tons and tons of bow hunting pressure. Again, the farther you get in especially. So there was one time last year, there was a spot where I thought was quite a hike, and when I got there, there was a guy getting up to his tree stand. It's a piece of property I was really, there's another bed. Piece of property I was really kind of, or part of the property I was really kind of hoping to hunt. But it actually caused me to move back, and as a result of that, I ended up finding the spot where I missed that 130. So it wasn't a total loss. Quite frankly, it wasn't quite as far, although you'd come in from a different spot. But I really think this property has good potential. But hopefully you enjoyed the little video of me setting up my cameras. Take a look on the website, Goldtine. Got some cool apparel, and also got some cool plaques and stuff that we make for European mounts. So check that out. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna head out and get home. Now it's time to get to work.